Maybe to get back to Europe and how Europe should approach this and what kind of role should Europe play. I think that a phrase that's synonymous with the Munich Security Conference is a wake-up call. And we've heard of many things that should have been a wake-up call for Europe to try to take initiative and take more responsibility for its security. And I completely agree that we do need to do that, but it does sort of seem that despite the many wake-up calls we've already had, we're still not quite there yet, and we're not actually awake. What do you think it would take for Europe to actually wake up and really take initiative and really start taking it seriously? And will we be ever able to actually get there?
I mean, you know, if you can't do it, then you will lose your sovereignty. I mean, so there will come a point when the one way or another, the nations of Europe or Europe as a whole will be forced to confront the fact that either that Ukraine has lost the war and that the war is now moving to different borders, or they'll be forced to confront the fact that the expansion of Russian sabotage and hybrid war is such that Europe is no longer able to function. I mean, there is an ugly, the end games get uglier and uglier, and the longer you put them off. So the price simply goes up. I can't tell you what it will take. If you look at there are many European countries who have already understood what's going on and have responded to the scale of the events. I mean, the very interesting group of countries now is Scandinavia, the Baltic states, and Poland as a kind of Baltic. Maybe you add the UK, although that's slightly exceptional. But this is a group of countries who all understand the threats because they see them every day. As I said in the beginning, there are these kind of visible Baltic Sea threats that happen all the time. And they've all grown their defense spending. Sweden and Finland joined NATO. The Baltics already have, I mean, they're tiny little countries, but they have by proportionally large defense spending. Poland is at 5% of GDP in its defense spending. So that you're beginning to see a coherent grouping of countries. Maybe after the German elections, Germany will join them. We'll see. But you see a coherent grouping of countries who are beginning to talk together. They meet together. They have joint strategizing about what to do, and that's you see them taking realistic activity. I mean, obviously, what we'd like to see is those countries plus the very least all the larger and wealthier European countries joining. I mean, I don't want to sound like nothing's happening, because I do see in most European countries, I see a change, including in Germany. I see a change in public opinion. I see a change in the politics. I see different activity in the military sphere and the defense sphere, and different attitude to armies and their significance. Actually, I had a conversation last night with a former German officer who said to me, "You can't imagine what it used to be like to be a German in uniform. People would treat you like a baby killer. You were kind of, it was not a nice thing to be." And we laughed, but the difference in Americans get all this respect if they're in uniform and so on. He said it was the opposite in Germany, but he thinks it's changed. That it's not so automatic, that people now understand why some people have to be soldiers, and then the kind of culture of pacifism that was so dominant in Germany for so long is altering. So I think there have been changes. I mean, the question now is just whether they're happening fast enough to accommodate the very, very rapid change in U.S. attitudes.
If you're enjoying this podcast, chances are that you like to know what's going on in the world of geopolitics. And if that's the case, you might want to sign up to my newsletter. There's a lot of news on geopolitics, but most of it just doesn't actually matter. It's just chasing headlines, emotions, and breaking news. What I want to do is to try to separate all this noise and find the signal, the stuff that actually does matter and will have consequences months and years down the line. And so in every edition, I pick out 3 things that do matter and explain why and what will be their future impact. You can find the link in the description, so check it out and sign up to stay informed.